anyway, they told us all about Bangkok, which I never knew anything about Bangkok. It's 2 feet above sea level, the country, that's all. We took a bus to the ferry at Athabadevi, wherever that is, along the Phi River. And to getting on, it was hot and crowded, and one side is Thanburi, and the other side is Bangkok. And while we were on this trip doing this, we saw such interesting things. The rice barges, so much rice, and it's all put on these big boats, a barge, and that's how the rice is shipped. Now, the people, this was unbelievable, because on either side of this river, people were living in these huts. They washed their clothing, they bathed it all in this dirty river. I was glad we were up on a boat which was clean. But that was really something to see. It was unbelievable, their living conditions. For their drinking water, they collected rainwater. Collected it in big jugs. And that's how they lived. They washed themselves, they bathed in this river, they washed their clothes in it, but they had jugs outside with the rainwater would fill up these jugs. That's what they, yeah. Well, anyway, we didn't eat or drink anything there, you see. It's good they filled us up well the 2 days before, because we wouldn't eat or drink anything there. And we saw all these interesting things. Oh, they had the floating market. They had some boats coming along. There weren't stores or anything. They would, on these, they called them floating markets. There was a boat, and it would have different products of food that they would need. And then they would buy from these floating barges. But that was very different. Oh, we bought pineapple, a whole pineapple if you could cut up. That was safe. Then we went to this Temple of the Dawn. It's quite a big temple, and we could just get around in it by ourselves. So we really explored, and we saw various things in the temple, and of course, they were selling things to the tourists, but they had silk embroidery and so forth, which I did buy something, and some watercolor print. Oh, here, we stopped at the Siam Gems department store. We bought a doll for Marcy and a tie for Harold. In the afternoon, we took a speedboat to a Thai farmhouse. This was a house. To go through the house, we had to take our shoes off. We were able to walk all through the house. We had dinner there. There were tables outside. This was after we got away from this dirty river and so forth. And we had a Chinese buffet outside of this Thai village. We're in Thailand still, see. And the children danced native dances for us. So that was fun. But the fruit and the drinks and all on the trip, the living conditions of the people I put down, unbelievable. The next day, Thursday right now, there was no tour planned. We could do whatever we wanted. If we wanted to just rest at the hotel, we rested at the hotel, ha ha. We hired a taxi to take us on our trip to see temples. It's very interesting to see these temples. We saw gold Buddha, a standing Buddha, imperial palace, which was very ornate, Chinese, Thai, Cambodia, an emerald Buddha. And first, we were just, uh, this was interesting. All of a sudden, we saw all the people along the streets. They were lined up with, they had American flags and they had another flag, which we didn't recognize. And then we found out Mondale, who was vice president of our country, he was visiting at that time and they were welcoming him. And so we said, oh, they're welcoming us too. Children and the police and all were lining the streets and waving American flags and Thai flags. So that was interesting. We were honoring one of our higher officers. But the food, we got had a delicious food plate eating with our lunch, and also a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Eh, then we took the plane from Bangkok to Hong Kong.